Marvin Devine. I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming, it's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
Thursday, May 28th, 2026. I hope you enjoyed the opening music. That was from one of my viewers who produced that, not my original song. Escape to Freedom is the title of that song. I think a lot of people like that. It's more like heavy metal. Not really my cup of tea, but I did enjoy it. Welcome back Thursday, the 28th of May, 2026, to the news. We'll discuss the news today, and then phone's volume button refuses to go to 11. Well, what's wrong with your phone? The sound is fine. Go to 11. Well, what's wrong with your phone? That's the program. It's playing just fine. Well, Alan Scrooby. Any relation to David Scrooby? Any relation? Wouldn't that be cool? I'm trying to reach that guy forever. I great surprise. Say to my father-in-law for an ID card. He turned 80, 1 hour, 5 minutes in and out. There you go. See, Mike? It just depends where you go and who you run into. Yeah, so let's get into the news. If you've got questions about refugees, please hold them till after the news. Be respectful of all the people who are here to hear the news. I appreciate it. Yeah. Hey, Delia, tell your partner in chat to give it a try. It wasn't there, but I went back and checked again last night, and all Scrooby related. I figured that. I went back last night and found that, in fact, it was blocked. So the problem is that the name isn't Cool Beans. It's Cool Beans 1, but that wasn't there the first 2 times I checked. So it showed up and should be able to chat now. All right. Yep. All right, so let's get to it. Yeah, the chat is jumping tonight. 31 is the chat rate. That's a pretty busy chat. That's pretty good, but not, for 247 people in the chat, that's in the stream, that's pretty darn good stuff. First off, let's talk about oil prices, ladies and gentlemen. Oil prices have climbed, but then they pull back. Yeah, they pulled back yesterday on report U.S. and Iran agreement to extend ceasefire awaits Trump approval. But now they're going back up. So it's like a seesaw. Futures were at $94 a barrel. And West Texas intermediate light crude was at $89 a barrel. Was it $88 a barrel on Tuesday? $88 a barrel. Can you imagine that? It was $79 when the war started. But we keep hearing about the price of fuel doubling. Somebody's playing games with somebody. The National Assembly in South Africa will hold its first impeachment hearing today. And they'll select the chair for the committee. No doubt they'll come from the ANC. This is disclosed in the National Assembly's program meeting following questions from EFF's Makalipe and African Transformation Movement leader Vuyo Sungula. National Assembly Secretary Masabule has also confirmed this, adding the impeachment committee will likely meet soon and elect its chair. Yep. Peter Bruce, in an op-ed, says that oil and gas are no longer the fuels of the future. Really? Okay. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah. Problem with your renewable stuff, it doesn't provide base load energy. So you have to have coal, oil, and gas. Carol Patton is carrying the water for Cyril Ramaphosa, defending Cyril Ramaphosa, claiming that the report did meet the standards that it needs to. And she says it's a question whether Cyril Ramaphosa even committed a crime. I'm not really sure what happened to Carol Patton. Did someone knock her down the stairs over the weekend? Did she lose a few brain cells tripping? What does she mean that there's no crime here? There's clearly a crime here. There's clearly a crime. There's a failure to disclose money that was illegally laundered into South Africa. There are credible allegations of witnesses who claim to have been kidnapped, tortured, and then bribed. There were crimes here. And Cyril Ramaphosa has the case to answer for. Whether he did it or not, it was on his property. And his people were involved. But was it a crime? Of course it was a crime. While Ramaphosa's story that a stupendously wealthy Sudanese businessman arrived unannounced as Limpopo farm on Christmas Day in 2022 with a load of cash to buy animals that he never collected is bizarre, it wasn't in 2022. It was actually in 2020, if I recall, or 2019. Its outlandishness is not evidence that he committed a crime. No, it's not. But the facts in front of the public are evidence that the crime was committed. Can you believe this? I mean, she usually writes pretty good stuff. What is she drinking? What is she drinking here? So now she's proposing an alternative theory about Benji Chauke being the person carrying the money for his second term. Look, I don't know what to tell you about this, but the media at News 24 carrying the water for Cyril Ramaphosa, there's a case to be made here. There's a crime that's been committed. There are multiple crimes been committed, and someone needs to answer for them. And it's been years, and no one's answered for them. And she's defending him. I mean, give me a break. Obama gave millions of dollars delivered in cash. Yeah, he gave money that belonged to the Shah and to the people of Iran. That's what the money was. MK party chief was arrested over alleged salary scam. Hawks employees were forced to hand over 60% of their salaries for legal fees. Mkoto Sizwe party chief whip Mbato Mokoena Zondi has been arrested after allegedly forcing party members to hand over chunks of their salaries under the guise of paying the party president's legal fees. The Hawks confirmed on Thursday the 46-year-old was arrested on fraud charges in the Western Cape. She allegedly defrauded party employees about 233,317 rand between August and December of 2024. Suspect headhunted and recruited 4 individuals into the party as researchers, and during their employment, she demanded payments under the pretext was for legal costs. Yet another corrupt member of a political party, and this one is MK, the vanity project for Jacob Zuma. Surprise, surprise, not. Well, the Independent Electoral Commission is drawing first blood, claiming that there will be efforts to undermine its credibility. Ladies and gentlemen, no one needs to undermine the IEC's credibility. It does it itself. I covered extensively the story of the Forum for Democrats in Zeerust, who were defrauded of their seat on the council, which they should have won by virtue of proportional representation. But that seat was illegally given to the economic freedom fighters. And when the evidence was presented by the political party, they told them it was too late. When it was presented by the election analyst, they were told it was too late. And when I covered the story, they simply ignored it. When a legal attorney wrote to them, they ignored that. It was only after I hosted a meeting between civil rights groups in South Africa, attorneys from Herder Spies, and that organization, and then they sent a notice to the IEC. Only then did they take action. Only then did they actually take action to correct what is clearly an intentional effort to steal a seat for the EFF in Northwest and defraud the people who voted for the Forum for Democrats, that Tswana-based political party, of their seat on the council. That's what happened, ladies and gentlemen. That is what happened. And the IEC lacks credibility. It did the same thing to the Cape Independence Party, Jack Miller's party, defrauding them out of seats that they had actually won in the election. Thank you, Michelle Duchess, for the 140 Rand super sticker. Yes, the IEC doesn't need anyone undermining its credibility. It does a fine job all on its own. Only when taken to court did they take action to overcome their arrogance. The IEC is all about the big political parties, the ones who have money and power. It doesn't care about the voters of South Africa. It doesn't care about the integrity of the elections, because if it did, it wouldn't ignore legitimate complaints from people in South Africa who have standing. Trust in government, democratic institutions, and historic law. The Electoral Commission says comments from political party leaders have the potential to further undermine public confidence in the integrity of the upcoming local government elections. Electoral Commission of South Africa Commissioner Janet Love says the IEC is very concerned about increasing attempts by some political parties to discredit it ahead of the 2026 local government elections. Recent comments by Julius Malema during a podcast in which he made allegations about vote rigging in the 2024 election prompted the IEC to issue a statement last week noting its concern over the sustained yet inaccurate statements regarding the integrity of the 2024 elections. Well, we also know that the 2019 elections had issues, and the 2021 municipal elections had a lot of issues where voters who had voted in the same precinct for year after year after year went to vote, and they said they weren't registered there. Told them they were registered 50 kilometers away. This is a problem. The IEC has many, many problems, and I think incompetence is the biggest part of it. It's incompetence. Hundreds of Cape Town students protesting, throwing stones over illegal foreigners. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is about to spiral out of control in South Africa. People who don't teach their children discipline. Around 700 people from 2 Cape Town schools protested Wednesday demanding the removal of foreign nationals from their schools and the country. Police said that some protesters threw stones at vehicles and looted fruit stalls and shops before police escorted them back to school. Jody Ackerman, thank you for the 350 Rand super sticker, your third super on the stream, on a live stream. By the way, I was told yesterday that I'm all about the money. So I was trying to set up, a super chat goal, like 25 super chats for the stream, but I didn't figure out how to do it. So I guess if I'm all about the money, I'm not very competent about being all about the money. Did you guys catch it yesterday? I was told the following. Let me just find that very quickly. That was comical, to say the least. Oh, it's not here. It's somewhere else. I know where it's at. Hang on. I was told yesterday that you are a hater if things don't go your way. Money, money, money. I'm going to send email, but you don't care because it's not happening to you. I'm so shocked for the person you are. Your true colors are beginning to show. That's why people leave. Time out, time out. I'm sick of it. Well, if you're getting timed out, perhaps you're doing something wrong. All about the money. Well, I can't set the super chat unless somebody knows how to do that. The goal, I guess I have to do it before the stream. So much for that. Oh, boy. So, anyway, all about the money. Sure. That's why I've given over $1 million of my time for free. Footsack. Stupid people, man. Stupid people. 700 children in uniform from 2 schools were escorted back to school. Why weren't they arrested? For throwing rocks? Police spokesman Captain F.C. Van Wyk said on Wednesday that Kraaifontein police station received a telephone call from a member of the public regarding a group of children from 2 high schools that were protesting. Debbie Fox, 350 rand, with another. Debbie, always coming through the 350. When she gives one to Ronaldo, I get jealous. Thank you. Because we appreciate you. Well, thank you so much for that. About 700 children in uniform, 2 schools were protesting, demanding foreign nationals be removed. Matthew Dixon wants a refund. Well, we don't refund anything less than 10,000 rand. Nationals be removed from their schools. They were marching towards another school. At one of the schools, protester learners were throwing stones at passing vehicles, and the other learners were throwing stones at personnel's vehicles. Some of the learners were walking to SAP's Kraaifontein. While walking, they looted the fruit stalls next to the road and shops. They took them back to school. Take them back to school. Oh, hey, Michelle. 140 rand again. Thank you for that. Take them back to school. Why don't you arrest them? Whose kids are these? Who are these clowns? Why aren't they in school? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. An explosive device went off in a Woolies in Menlyn Mall. Whoa. Was this terrorism? Or was this just an overheated box of cornflakes? Wow. 5 Packers miraculously escaped injury when the device exploded on a shelf inside Woolworths in Menlyn on Thursday. Schwane Police spokesman Captain Johan van Dijk said the incident happened about 1 a.m. while the workers were busy stocking shelves. He said no one was injured. Police have launched an investigation following an explosion incident reported at a Woolworths store situated in Menlyn Mall on Atterbury Road in the early hours of Thursday morning. He said the store manager was informed of the incident after receiving a call from staff on duty. Van Dijk said police then called and arrived at the scene. It's alleged an unknown explosive device detonated on one of the store shelves. At the time of the incident, 5 Packers were on duty. No injuries were reported. Are we back to the nonsense that the ANC perpetrated in the 1980s and 90s? Nick says 14 rand for Matthew's refund. Magog gave 14 rand and Hendo gave £2. More like we're losing money doing this for 6 years. Exactly, Hendo. A lot of money. A lot of money. Yep. That's why you do our shop at Menlyn Main and not in the mall. Okay. Future looks bright. Keith Orkia. Gedag, Colonel. 70 rand. Thank you for that. Reserve Bank hikes the key interest rate to 7% as inflation risk intensify. South African Reserve Bank, which refuses to prosecute or call Cyril Ramaphosa to account for the money laundering of $580,000, has raised its main policy rate by 25 basis points to 7% today, saying inflation risk stemming from higher oil prices had intensified and the challenge of large and overlapping shocks would likely trigger second-round effects. Well, there you go. The South African captured Reserve Bank. Well, that's their right to do it. In a shocking development, the Democratic Alliance has won award from the ANC by just a handful of votes, but they won it nonetheless. In Mfuleni, beating ANC by just 8 votes. Hey, look at that lovely place of Mfuleni. Look at how people are pigs and throw their rubbish, just lay it all over the place. So many pigs in South Africa throwing their rubbish all over the place. Franz gave $2. Now I can buy the new Porsche. Thank you. That Cayenne. Voters casting ballots next to mountains of uncollected refuse have delivered a historic blow to the ANC, handing the DA its first ever township ward victory in the fractured Mfuleni local municipality by a razor-thin margin of 8 votes. The DA secured 1,001 votes against the ANC's 993 votes in Ward 28, flipping a traditional ruling party stronghold. Local residents openly admitted to switching allegiance, citing neighboring Midval's superior service delivery under DA governance as a catalyst for their change. It's a setback. We worked hard to retain the ward. It was a highly contested terrain with the emergence of new parties, including our alliance partners, SACP, that have done us damage to us. The ANC making excuses for their failure yet again. I'll be making a video later on about Thabo Mbeki making excuses for the ANC's failures. Martin gave 70 Rand. There's my coffee money. Thank you for that. Boy. And then Bonnie said, you took one of my zeros, Debbie. We appreciate you, sir. Thank you, Bonnie. The little super chats are coming in. Thank you. Elon Musk was a staff draft dodger. I have no idea what that means. He was never old enough to serve in uniform. 1 full year, Colonel. Thank you for all that you do. Hey, El Marie, it's been a year. Wow. 90% of the repatriated Ghanaians were found to be undocumented. Ooh, Border Management Authority says 295 of the 300 Ghanaians allowed to travel home from South Africa. Wow. The Border Management Agency confirmed 90% of the 300 Ghanaians repatriated were illegally there in the country. And in Ghana, they said, welcome home.
Welcome all of you to Ghana, your own country, to the motherland.
So, what the frick were they doing in South Africa to begin with then? Camping fee for the lawn. Thank you, Michelle. 35 Rand. Wow. Wow. That's crazy. So, that's how they respond to going back to Ghana? Bunch of freeloaders getting a free ride back to Ghana. Wow. 90% of them found to be undocumented. The Ghanaian embassy had to issue them with emergency travel certificates. They're probably not even Ghanaian. I bet you some of them are freaking Liberian or Ivorian or something like that. 5 of them were refused permission to travel. Wow. Ethiopian Airlines. She broke down in tears after reaching the Accra airport. Then why did you ever leave and go to South Africa? Unbelievable. This is a bad look for South Africa. Black people joyful of escaping South Africa. Black people joyful of escaping South Africa. Once again, black people joyful of escaping South Africa. Yeah. How bad is that? How bad have things gotten in South Africa that black Africans are terrified and have to leave? Wow. That's incredible. Transnet Ports has signed a 25-year operator deal for liquefied natural gas regasification facility with Ukwanda LNG to develop an onshore regasification facility at Ngwuria in the Eastern Cape. It's a response to South Africa's commitment to renewable energy. Natural gas is not renewable, which is set to unlock about 6 gigawatts of gas to power pipeline. That's not renewable energy. Oh, Erica, thank you for the 7 Rand. Demi had 2 strokes from the ACDP. I haven't heard from him in a while. Wow, glad that he's recovering well. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, that's not renewable energy. Elmarie Swart says, just because we love you for all the person you are, one of the most caring people to ever come to know dearly. South Africa is becoming a mess in so many ways. Thank you, Elmarie, for the 350 Rand super chat. Yeah, I'm sorry, but natural gas is not renewable. It's a hydrocarbon. I mean, this is just stupid. That's a commitment to renewable energy. It's not renewable energy. It may be a commitment to lowering carbon output, but it's not a commitment to renewable energy. That's not renewable. The only way natural gas is renewable is if you create methane, as the English like to say. It's actually called methane. If you want to produce methane, then you get it from rotting things. But give me a break. Well, here are the 26 players representing South Africa at the World Cup. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to congratulate the African National Congress. Let's just take a moment. Can we give some applause to the African National Congress? Their goal of transformation, in other words, removing white people from society, is working wonders. Once again, the boys, Bafana Bafana, is a virtually all-black team. No Indians, no coloreds, one whitey. Let's look at Bafana Bafana's World Cup team in a country where 20% of the population isn't black, but barely any of the team isn't black. Yes, the transformation is going so well. Let's just give it up for the ANC. Here we go. So here are the 26 players representing South Africa at the World Cup. Goalkeeper is Ronwen Williams. Sipo Kane, Ricardo Goss, and Auger says, thank you for all you do. I appreciate all the information regarding the program you provide along with the news. I recently got approval, and now it's just waiting. Cool beans, congratulations. Arno, 14 Rand, thank you. Can't wait to meet you one day. Well, that'll be cool. Kulisi Madao, who's sticking his hand in the opponent's face. Look at that. That's foul play. Aubrey Modiba, Bzukile Mukazi, Nkosi Tani Sibisi, Kulubani Ndamane, Ime Okon, Tabang Matuludi, Samu Kele Kabini. Oh, and the token Whitey, Bradley Cross. The token Whitey, Bradley Cross. Olwethu Makane, Camilo Sebelele, Toboho Mokwena, Talente Mbata, Sifilo Sitole, Jaden Adams, Temba Zwane, Lyle Foster, I guess he's colored, Ray Bohile Mafokeng, Oswin Apollonus, Shabang Moremi, Evidence Makopa, Ikram Rainers, Tabelo Maseko, and there is your transform. Yeah, Bradley Cross won't even play, just like the white goalie in the 2010 FIFA World Cup. He'll just be on the roster so they can say transformation. Yes, transformation only works one way. Only works one way. It's called eliminating minorities from South Africa. A fire at a Kenyan school has resulted in 15 fatalities. A fire tore through a dormitory to girls' school in a town in Kenya's Rift Valley overnight, killing at least 15 pupils. Unknown number of pupils were also injured at the senior academy. The cause of the fire is not known. Broken window panes and smoke-stained walls after people took pictures. Of that shock and fear and anxiety, many people went out, and it was at night. There are kids missing, so they're looking for them. Hopefully they weren't burned up. Uganda has closed its border with the Congo over Ebola after 7 cases appear in Kampala, the capital, and now they've shut the border down with the DRC. After decades on the run, this Kami Pinko terrorist was finally caught, prosecuted, convicted, and sentenced to 13 years in prison, and she has more cases to answer for. Daniela Klette, 67 Jahre alt, war ein Mitglied der Rote Armee-Fraktion. She was a 67-year-old member of the Red Army faction, attacked American and capitalist interests until the 1990s, convicted of robberies, committed later to finance life as a fugitive. So not even convicted of terrorism. 13 years. But she's still got cases to answer for. And I hope she dies painfully in prison. Trump threatens Oman over the Strait of Hormuz. He said it would be a serious repercussions if Iran and Oman move forward the deal to open the Strait of Hormuz. They want to share control, face the American bombing campaign. Quickly after making the threat, Trump said he didn't believe the United States would have to take such an action. Oman will behave just like everybody else, or we'll have to blow them up. They understand that. They'll be fine. Yeah, Oman talking about charging people to go through it. The Iran war. The Gulf states condemn Iran on attack on Kuwait after U.S. strikes in the IRGC. The United States carried out new defensive strikes on an Iranian military site, allegedly posing a threat to U.S. forces and maritime traffic. In response, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps says it launched an attack on an American airbase in Kuwait, and they've been condemned for their actions. U.S. and Iran are trading strikes. Further negotiations are threatened. Iran fired a ballistic missile toward Kuwait early on Thursday as an overnight exchange of attacks dimmed hopes an agreement would reopen the Strait of Hormuz and the war would be signed soon. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps said it had targeted U.S. base in retaliation for American strikes in southern Iran. Well, not a good move. The United Nations has added Israel to a blacklist of war zone sexual violence suspects. United Nations adding Israel to its blacklist of countries and organizations suspected of committing sexual violence in conflict zones. The move prompted Israel to suspend communications cooperation with outgoing UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres. Israel will be listed along with Palestinian militant group Hamas, whose members the UN found committed sexual violence in 2023. Israeli officials said Guterres, who in his final months was pressured into adding Israel to the list in response to Hamas' inclusion. Secretary General's team continued to spread lies about Israel. To put us and Hamas terrorists on the same list, it's unacceptable. We're a strong democracy. No evidence presented as to why Israel was added to this list for sexual violence, just hatred of Jews, apparently. China's military deployed electronic jamming against a Dutch warship in the South China Sea. This is an act of war. The Chinese have declared war on the Netherlands. The Dutch frigate is on a mission aimed at promoting free passage and keep strategic waterways safe, according to the Dutch Defense Ministry. China Wednesday said it deployed naval and air forces to deter a Dutch frigate in a rare encounter between Beijing and Amsterdam in the hotly contested South China Sea. Chinese forces used necessary measures, including verbal warnings and electronic jamming, to force the Dutch frigate away on May 27th. The move came after the Dutch frigate HNLMS De Ruyter allegedly trespassed in waters near the Paracel Islands and repeatedly flew its helicopter into the islands that China claims as territory. China has no claim to that territory. They are a rogue nation that doesn't respect international agreements and international judgments. The International Court of Justice determined that China's bogus, bullshit, fraudulent claim of sovereignty over the Paracels and all the Scarborough Shoal and all the other things taking place in South China Sea were not legitimate. And now China is attacking foreign ships at sea. The Dutch vessels on a global mission to promote free passage and maintain safety of strategic waterways. The Paracel Islands, where the latest encounter occurred, are a small archipelago located roughly equidistant from the coast of Vietnam and China's southernmost island of Hainan. Both countries claim them, but the Communist Party has occupied them since 1974. The Communist Party claims the entire South China Sea is strategic and resource-rich waterway, despite a 2016 arbitration ruling that invalidated its assertion under the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea. The regime rejects the ruling and has repeatedly pledged to defend its sovereignty. Well, it's not your sovereignty. And if there's going to be a war in Asia, it's going to be over the South China Sea. The Chinese are rogue, and they need to be sanctioned for their actions in attacking a Dutch warship. What is a Dutch warship doing in the South China Sea? Because it's international waters. Navies can sail wherever they want. It's international waters. A man stabs 3 people at a Swiss train station, what authorities call an act of terror. This is what Switzerland gets for letting all these radical lunatics in the country. A man stabbed and wounded 3 people in what authorities describe as an act of terror at a train station in Winterthur today before being arrested. It took place at 8:30 a.m. The suspect was arrested 5 minutes after emergency service alert. It's a 31-year-old Swiss-Turkish dual national who lives in Winterthur. Wow. 3 Swiss men, ages 28, 43, and 52, were wounded. The first 2 were discharged or about to be released from hospitals by mid-afternoon. Oldest is still hospitalized after an operation on a thigh injury. Winterthur has 123,000 residents. Why are you letting Turks become Swiss citizens? They're not Swiss. They're not Rhédo-Romanche. They're not French. They're not German. They're not Italian. They're Turks. Get them out of the country. Do not give them citizenship. This is what you get. President Trump has endorsed the Armenian president as the U.S. signs a partnership deal with Iran. Elections are on hold, or due to hold elections June 7th. President Trump has endorsed Armenian President Nikol Pashinyan ahead of next month's election. Endorsement comes as Washington and Yerevan signed strategic partnership agreement. Nikol has my complete and total endorsement for re-election on June 7th. We'll bring the United States, Armenia, and South Caucasus and Central Asia to greater heights than ever before. Make Armenia great again. Germany's Fola urges players to avoid political statements at the World Cup. This is when Germany became unwatchable. This is the 2022 corrupt gutter World Cup. German players urge not to repeat protests in 2026. Well, no wonder they committed these protests. Look at that. 8 players and 4 of them aren't even German. Actually, 5 of them aren't even German. There's a Pole in there. There's some African, some Mischling, some Arab, and another Mischling. Not even Germans. No wonder they acted like idiots. Germany sporting director Rudi Völler urged members of the World Cup to avoid making political statements. Someone wishes to do so, they're welcome to do the run-up to the tournament. However, if this hasn't happened to this point, it generally shouldn't start happening. In Qatar, German players cover their mouths in their pre-match photo before their tournament opened against Japan, protesting against FIFA's threat to sanction players wearing One Love armbands. Yeah, well, I think the German players should be sanctioned for their stupidity. They're not even German. Canada has decided to buy Swedish aircraft over American aircraft. Prime Minister Mark Carney chose Saab surveillance and control plane after vowing to reduce military spending with the United States. Now, before we go any further, and you think that this is Canada giving the U.S. the thumb, the middle finger, it's not. It's Canada getting defense offsets because Saab is using a Bombardier jet built by the Canadians. After repeatedly vowing to reduce Canada's military spending, the U.S. Prime Minister Carney said on Wednesday the Royal Canadian Air Force will buy a fleet of Swedish military surveillance aircraft. The Saab Global Eye, which is based on a Canadian executive jet, was selected over 2 American surveillance planes, including one from Boeing. Purchase comes as Canada is currently reviewing whether to continue buying up to 88 F-35 jets from the U.S. or shift to the Gripen fighter jet, also from Saab. Canada did buy 16 F-35s. Well, good luck with the Gripen. It's a great fighter, but it's for middling countries. So if Canada doesn't have the F-35, it consigns itself to developing world military status. The Gripen's a great aircraft, but it's not an F-35, not even close. It's not even a stealth. Silver could fall further with the latest slump after soaring to ridiculous heights, rising 140% in price last year. It's now dropping because, unlike gold, silver is actually used in industry. And a wide range of industrial purposes makes it very sensitive to economic cycles. So silver prices are collapsing. Here are prices in the past 5 years. Going back to June of 2022, the price was under $20 an ounce. It rose to $140 an ounce in January 20th of this year before dropping back to $67. Now it's at $75 an ounce. This is a ridiculous price for silver. Silver is not worth that. The demand isn't there. It's speculation. A federal judge has declined to block President Trump's citizenship verification plans for elections. A federal judge ruled today against groups challenging President Trump's plan to use the Department of Homeland Security and the Postal Service to police voter fraud, finding the organizations lacked the legal standing to sue. U.S. District Judge Carl Nichols, a Trump appointee to the court in Washington, said the injuries the group foresees are too speculative right now. Trump's executive order issued in March directs Homeland Security to compile a list of valid citizens who will be 18 years of age on Election Day and transmit them to states. It also instructed the Postal Service to come up with a process to police mail-in ballots and accept ballots only from those on Homeland Security's approved citizenship list. Demon rat political groups and illegal immigrant rights organizations sued Washington in order to halt the order. Why are immigration groups suing to stop our voting? They have no standing. They're not even Americans, and they want to vote? No, thank you. A judge declines to block Trump's order mail-in voting. Plaintiffs cannot show that preliminary injunctive relief is warranted. 100%. Yep. It's a 26-page decision. Wow. Look at that. Official mail-in drop box. No security, no cameras, no guards. Just a box. Anybody can drop anything they want in there. Illegal aliens who get ballots can drop things in there. Look at that. That's in Washington, D.C., the District of Columbia. That's so corrupt right there. That's not an election. That's a Publishers Clearinghouse sweepstakes. That's not an election. What a fraud. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says Iran's economy is in free fall and the U.S. will target Iranian airlines next. Uh-oh. It's getting serious now. Treasury Secretary said Iran must satisfy U.S. demands in peace negotiations to end the downward spiral of its economy. He said the Navy formed a wall of steel around Iran to thwart the regime from exporting oil and gaining critical revenue. Remember somebody came in my chat a few weeks ago and said, yeah, all the oil is getting exported through Pakistan. I'm like, no, it's not. People just make stuff up. It's comical. Iran's Persian Gulf Strait Authority is a joke, and today Treasury has sanctioned it. We have warned any corporate or state entities against paying tolls or hiding them as aid payments. Yep. Prosecutors say a former CIA officer had $40 million in gold bars from the agency. Former CIA official accused of stealing 303 gold bars worth more than $40 million from a spy agent and stashed them in his Virginia residence. Except he didn't steal them. According to the story read last night, the CIA paid him. He requested gold bars for payment for services he rendered. So how did he steal them? The story is getting very confusing. Very confusing. Podium guy from January 6 wants $5 million in compensation from the fund. Podium guy was infamously photographed carrying then House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's lectern through the U.S. Capitol, has asked the Department of Justice to pay him $5 million. Adam Johnson met Wednesday with DOJ personnel to follow his official claim for President Trump's anti-weaponization fund, which had been established to compensate victims of the Biden administration's legal activities. Mr. Johnson, who pleaded guilty to entering a restricted building and earned a 75-day sentence, told Seen, Heard, and Whispered that he spent $250,000 as legal defense and accrued far more of that and damaged his reputation. Well, good luck with getting that money, but I want my money for my channel being taken away, the collusion, the cajoling, and the coercion by the Biden regime with YouTube to steal my channel. I want my compensation. Department of Homeland Security says House Democrats and protesters stormed an ICE detention facility. The crowd broke into New Jersey immigration facility, said the Department of Homeland Security. The Democrats said they were exercising oversight authority. They don't have authority to do that. A confrontation erupted Friday at New Jersey Detention Center after 3 Democratic members of Congress and a group of protesters entered the federal immigration facility without authorization. In a May 9th statement, DHS officials alleged that 2 Democratic members of Congress, Representatives Robert Menendez and Bonnie Watson, joined a group of activists in breaching the outer security gate at the Delaney Hall Detention Center. The group allegedly forced their way into the first checkpoint, occupying a guard shack. Members of Congress storming into a detention facility goes beyond a bizarre political stunt and puts the safety of law enforcement and detainees at risk. Both of them should have been arrested and charged with federal crimes. Reportedly, a woman from Ghana has been detained at Dulles Airport, according to the American Criminal Liberties Union. The pair arrived seeking medical treatment and have been in a windowless room for more than a week. Immigration authorities. Oh, look, another non-Anglo-Saxon reporter. Virtually all of them in these media. Daniel Wu. Immigration authorities have detained a pregnant woman and her 4-year-old son at Washington Dulles Airport for over a week. Annabella Giassi, 38, arrived in the United States on May 19th after securing a visa and an appointment for her son at Akron Children's Hospital in Ohio, where she hoped her son would get care for a physical abnormality affecting his hands. U.S. Customs Border Protection agencies asked her if she feared persecution in her home country. Giassi answered that she did because of her son's disability. They then classified her as an asylum applicant and moved to nullify her tourist visa. If she hadn't answered that question honestly, she would have been well on her way to her child's doctor's appointment. Last month, the State Department instructed diplomatic missions to ask applicants for non-immigrant visas if they fear returning to their home country and refuse travel documents for those who say yes. But that policy has nothing to do with her detention. So there's more to the story than the American Criminal Liberties Union would tell us. That no one's going to be detained for that. That doesn't make any sense. From Mayor Pete to feckless Transportation Secretary Pete to President Pete? No, I'm sorry. Sorry. Mayor Pete, no, not going to happen. Former Transportation Secretary loser Pete Buttigieg is the front-runner in the 2028 presidential nomination. He is the preferred candidate for 18% of Demon Rats, followed by Gavin Newsom at 16, AOC at 11, Josh Shapiro and Kamala Harris each came in at 10. Wow. Give me a break. Not going to happen. Well, Trump appointees pushed the $250 banknote with his portrait to celebrate the 250th anniversary. The printing director who resisted the effort said she was reassigned last month. The buck stopped here, she wrote in her goodbye. Trump administration officials have pressed the office responsible for printing the nation's money to design a $250 bill featuring the president's portrait, according to 4 current and former employees. It will be the first appearance of a living person on U.S. currency in more than 150 years. The artist who designed the mock-up told the Post that he had spoken with Trump about it. British painter Ian Alexander said Trump endorsed changes to his original design, such as adding colors to the American flag and a logo commemorating the 250th anniversary of the nation's founding. So, yep. No living person has appeared on U.S. currency since 1866, when it was outlawed after the image of a mid-level Treasury bureaucrat showed up on a 5-cent note. Legislation that would allow Trump to appear on the $250 bill was introduced in Congress last year to commemorate the nation's 250th anniversary, but has languished. Should this legislative mandate be signed into law, the BEP is moving proactively to produce a $250 commemorative note that will appropriately recognize the 250th anniversary of our great nation. 2 political appointees were dismissed in response to the current employee said. Anyway, yep. Larry Felix, former director of the Bureau, said a $250 note is not statutorily authorized without an act of Congress. No law prohibits printing bills with Trump's signature. U.S. currency experts say that producing a $250 note featuring the president's image would run afoul of current laws. One states only deceased individual may depict an American currency. None specifies which denominations the Bureau may produce. Well, I'll tell you this much. If they produce $250 notes with Trump's face on it, the Treasury will make tens of billions of dollars. These will become collector's items instantaneously. I will buy 4 of them. Yep, not because I like Trump, but because I know that they're going to be worth something. And that's the news for today, folks. Be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done it already. Appreciate you being here and your patronage. 238 likes, 374 people currently here. American woman traveler sees race concerns after a new rental car stopped dead in its tracks. It told her it needed to see her eyes. But after sitting up straight, she was able to continue. Wow, that's weird. We're anti-El Nino. Yes, it's that season. AOC for president. Yeah, easy win for the Republicans. Can't believe Harris is even still an option for the You're right, Neff. Yep. Yeah, is he still on maternity leave? Good question there, Hendo. Mel is back in South Africa. That's news to me. Where did you see that at? El Marie Swart, where did you see that Mel is back in South Africa? Because she was still in the States and she had 30 days to deport. Gina, welcome back. Hang on. What was that? Thank you for your membership. Appreciate it, Ghost Phantom. Alexandros Panagatopoulos, tough be South African sitting our government. Oh, I got you on that one. What amounts to a heat wave in the UK? Anything over 450 degrees Celsius or Fahrenheit. Can you believe you literally have to rely on a decent judge to get free and fair voting in the U.S.? Yeah, you can believe it. It's sad. That's how badly things got. Daniel's unmasked after investigation podcast team used facial recognition software to match internet photos to an old wanted poster. Who's that, Crystal? Right. That's why Canada's been freeloading for the past ever since the Canadian Parachute Regiment was disbanded after the abuse in Somalia. Canada's been a freeloader, and they've not been carrying their weight in this relationship. The U.S. has been covering their backside, their skirt. They know that they can be freeloaders. Yep. Oh, her identity. Okay, gotcha, Chris. You're talking about the terrorist. The Bader Meinhof movie is a good watch. No, I haven't seen it. True that. Okay, what else we got here? You guys are chatting about Ebola. Babies growing pumpkins. That's crazy. You guys are chatting. We had a 30 chat rate. It's down to 13 now. Problem is not the official government of the Netherlands making these statements, but only a few small parties. What's the Netherlands saying? Arno Jacobs, bless you. Can't wait to meet you one day. Okay, that's where the super chats were. I caught those. All right, now I'm caught up. Okay, with all the super chats, the comments, not chats. Who is Michelle and why did she have to deport? I don't know. Who's Michelle? For Starbucks and why cult members one time in USA says West House. Delia says, I was cooking. The chat rate will pick up. Well, did someone try to see if they can chat? I haven't seen any comments from that person. Delia. Karen is late. That's okay. Your big blonde hairy trolls are now chasing me and a pack of dogs to the streets between buildings in my snippets. Sonia Fun Bean says, I watched Prestige's video today on asylum claim being denied by US. Oh. Okay, first off, okay, the asylum claim has nothing to do with USCIS. First off, you've got a misconception there. USCIS doesn't determine asylum claims. Judges do that. Asylum judges. I would love to be an asylum judge, an immigration judge. That's done by immigration judge. Has nothing to do with USCIS. So you're mistaken there. It's up to the immigration judge. Most of these people don't have legitimate claims. The judges aren't there to determine whether they could be considered a refugee. See, you guys got to stop that. That's pulling at the heartstrings. You got to stop it. Full stop. If you claim asylum, refugee has nothing to do with anything. It doesn't matter if it's unsafe, go back to your country. If you claim asylum and you can't prove that you've been persecuted or you're going to be persecuted, How do you prove you're going to be persecuted unless they've already if they've issued a death sentence against you? Then you're clearly going to be persecuted. But other than that, what are they going to do? So they're the same. They're not two birds of a feather. This is why I told people from the outset: do not do asylum. It's a fool's errand. It's a mistake. All these H-2A visa holders, I'm going to clear asylum. Well, good luck with that. You're going to spend tens of thousands of dollars, and ultimately you're going to be deported. Yep. Soccer world flight tickets will delay refugee flight tickets. No, I already answered that question yesterday, Night of Justice. No. Why? You think a lot of people are coming from South Africa to watch the all Bantu team? The all Nguni speaking team? No. No. Not many people are coming from South Africa to watch the FIFA World Cup. Trust me, they're not. I have never met a single South African at a FIFA World Cup outside of South Africa. I've only been to one. Never met a South African here. Asylum is foolish. I don't see how it's still not working because I found it there and I took care of it. So it's, unless someone, if someone couldn't have put him back in, it doesn't make any sense. I found that last night and I took it out and fixed it. So I'm not sure how that's even possible. Let me make sure it's didn't pop up again, because YouTube can be very picky. Well, no, there was 193. I got the initial batch at 193. Now it says 192 more. But I took 2 people. No. Well, that was moderators. But I put him back. I'm looking to see. I'm going through it one more time. Oh, okay. She's been blocked. Someone blocked her. I didn't know that. She thinks she's been timed out. I didn't know what she's talking about. She sent me a nasty note that says she was timed out. I didn't time her. I didn't even know she was timed out. She's been blocked. But given her behavior yesterday, I'm not inclined to remove that right now. Nope, I'm looking. Nope, it's not there. It's not in my... So... No, I just did it again. I'm not worried about it, but it's strange. YouTube is weird. Okay, Delia. Oh, boy. Crazy stuff. So, anyway. This window. Abraham, you don't have a case. Have you not done the intake questionnaire? Oh, you did on March 19th. You don't have a case. That number's not a case number. What you sent me is not a case number. Big Fish has been approved today and now waiting for tickets. Okay, good luck with that. Abraham, you don't have a case. The UFN is not a number. That's just a referral. A refugee case starts with SF. Snippets. Colonel, please see my message from just now and scroll back a bit as there are some photos that might find interesting. How can I see photos in chat? Or are you talking about in my WhatsApp? Okay. So I've just commented or checked with somebody in the media who responded very quickly. Thank you for that. And they can't confirm that Mel is back in South Africa, but she's claiming she is. And ICE has said she did leave the United States. So she's no longer on our shores. They can't say where she went, though. So I'm sure she went back to South Africa. You want me to roll back snippets? Where am I supposed to find photographs? I don't see any comment from snippets. Nope. There's Westhouse's super chat. Nope. Ghost Phantom became a member. Thank you for, a long time ago. Thank you for being a member. I don't see anything from you, snippets. Again, YouTube is not perfect. There's problems with chat. There's, we see the one with Cool Beans not showing up. He's not blocked. Oh, Joan, hello to you. Okay, so that wasn't on News 24 when I went live. So let me see. Let's see. No. Where? There's nothing here. Anyway, I don't know where you guys find that. I don't see it on there. Big Fish says, thanks for support when all things were tough. Those that are still waiting, you will be next. Hey, Mara, what's going on? Oh, did Snippet send me an email? Well, you guys got to be clear. I mean, you know, we're talking about multiple things here. I don't have anything for my name, Snippets. Let me see. Okay, I got it. Now I know who Snippets is. Okay. The last email you sent me is February 9th. So I don't have any email. So I'm getting threats from this Johan clown again. He sent a picture of the tweet. You think because I'm not a YouTuber, I don't get coverage. You even reported on Value Mahala's post, but if you're an intelligence officer, you would see Value reposted my post. Total views, a few days, 70,000. You're on your way there. You're about to be blocked by HA final stages. Home Affairs. Oh, he keeps threatening me that I'm being blocked to go into South Africa by Home Affairs. Oh, boy. Yep. Sent that to someone in the U.S. government. I turned the mic off, folks. Oh, he's definitely a troll. He's in love with me. Yeah, he's just threatening me again. He's always doing it. By the way, someone tried to break in my X account again yesterday, and I thwarted that. They tried again. Mara, he's not on here. He doesn't have the courage to come on here. He sends me emails. He threatens me repeatedly. He's a loser of high note, and yeah. Well, Home Affairs can declare someone undesirable. They just did it to 295 Ghanaians who were illegals. Yep. It is Cool Beans. What is Cool Beans? Oh, thank you, Elmer. You sent me the link. Okay. Oh, there you go. Got it. Oh, it's on Netverk24, so I won't be able to read it. Oh, no, I can read it. Oh, man, I don't know why anyone finds that woman attractive. She even wears a diamond encrusted, probably a fake diamond. Thank you for the super chat snippets on her neck that has her name on it. I mean, you talk about self-centered. Mel, look at those. I'm sorry. Yep. These clowns. Oh, anyway, wow. Wow. Thank you for that. Well, that's on Netverk24. That's why I don't have it, because most of their channel is blocked. It's pay, and I pay for News24, but I don't pay for them. Thank you for that WhatsApp snippets. So someone actually share that fool's email in the chat. See how he likes being spammed with nonsense. Oh, you can go find him, but he'll come after you. So I mean, it's all he does. Doesn't have a life. So I'd suggest ignoring him. Yeah. It's hard to believe anybody in South Africa is. Oh, you have never WhatsApped me. Okay. Yep. Muy noise, says Hendo. Dodgy blonde, exactly. Yeah. And he'll just block your emails anyway once you start sending them to him. Just go to Botswana and drive across. The problem is you have to fly to South Africa to get to Botswana. Oh my word, what a loss for you to not go back to South Africa. Yeah, I know, what a tragedy. What a horrific situation, right? That's too funny. Oh my goodness. Also, the Sunnyside Prowler apparently made something back on the 30th of April, but I don't really care. It's people just looking for something. That's another loser. These losers are all going to, so they're all going to be so sorry at some point. Cruiser Phoenix is back. What were you down for? Did you have no power? Boston Legal. That was a good series. I liked William Shatner in that. Denny Crane. Yeah, but we can't do that. It can't be done. Denny Crane. That was a great character for him. Oh, hey, Adelie, what's up? In your own time, the WhatsApp snippet says. Okay, well, I'll snippet some here. Welcome to Durban. What is this? What happened here? Not big heads in the way. No sound. They're shooting? Oh, okay. They're shooting outside of Woolies in Durban at the mall. Good Lord. Yep. Wow. That's crazy. Is it possible to contact USCIS via email with regards to our case? Did mail you in regard to police clearance done. Why do you need a police clearance, Russo? Did they tell you to get one? If they told you to get one, then upload the document where they told you. But you don't need a police clearance. Why are you going for police clearance unless they told you to get one? I can't remember everybody's case. There's no reason to get a police clearance unless the U.S. government tells you to go get one. We don't trust the South African government. Why would Plus, we know you can buy one for 200 Rand. So, Yeah, and there's no way to contact them other than what they give you. If they give you information to contact them, then that's how you do it. Other than that, there's no way to contact them. You did email. Okay, Pierre, but I mean, you're not answering my question. Oh, yeah, okay. I remember this now. Okay. Gotcha. Well, there's no further action required on your part, so I'm not sure what's... I'm reading the message you got from Church World Service. It says they acknowledge your documents are uploaded, no further action from your moment for you. So I don't understand. Sorry, Pierre, I don't understand. I looked at your email. Well, the police clearance can be if someone had a case in the past or they believe there's a case, so that's why they want it. The reason they would want that is because their records are showing the case is still active. They did an investigation most likely, and they found that the case is active or it has not been resolved, and therefore they're asking for, info on it. Menlyn Woolies. Oh, that's not Durban. That's Menlyn. Okay, Elmarie, where is that? Anyway. An ad came up as I started the clip. Jasper says x-rays are cleared. I'm assuming that's for tuberculosis. It's amazing how many of you have tuberculosis. Do you reckon that you might have a catch-up again this month with Lily if you have time? She mentioned doing something in your last one on May 3rd about doing a monthly catch-up. Yeah, Dwayne, we'll probably do one. Also, another one with Professor G. But let's get into June before we do that, okay? Going to be a very busy summer. We've got the USC playoffs happening this weekend, the quarterfinal, then the semifinal, then the final 2 weeks after that. We've got the test season starting on the 20th of June for the Springboks. I've got a trip with a filmmaker from the UK to visit refugees in the upper Midwest coming up in June. The dates are uncertain, so I'm still in the air for that. Then we got to cover the All Blacks tour. Then I'll be going to the game in Baltimore. So a lot happening between now and the end of September. So yeah. Pat McAfee is not my neighbor. No, I've never been on Pat McAfee. I followed him as a punter for the Colts. His show is very popular. Very popular. I'm not running for president. Making rows in your application. I have no idea what that means. Hey, Faithful Farmer, how's it going? Yeah, Pierre, I read it. I understand. So, yeah. Excuse me. Hopefully my last statement was satisfied. No business. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Withdrawn. Yep. Thank you for that. The problem is that it appears in the docket. When they do searches, public records checks and stuff like that, a case will still appear there, even if it was dismissed. And that's why they might ask you for police clearance. I'm just speculating, but that would be a reason for it. Mui Noi, welcome to you. Oh, I thought he was just saying, he was welcoming Mui Noi, Hendo did earlier. Okay. And Faithful Farmer's doing all right. So Faithful Farmer, in June, working around my schedule for the filming, I don't know the dates of that, so I can't set anything up, but working around that, I intend to come to New England in June. So the plan is New Hampshire, I'll be going to Nashua, and preferably I'll be there on a Wednesday night so I can be in the studio to do our show. So I'll be going to New Hampshire, to Massachusetts, and... Says I'm not live. Says I'm not live. Am I live? It says I'm not live. It says I'm live here. Got an ad here. Stupid ads. No, I'm live. Oh, YouTube Studio sucks. Internet's gone down. Bye, Joan. No, it wasn't you. Stick around. It's back. No, Pat McAfee, he isn't in Pennsylvania, is he? I think he's still in Indiana. Okay. Will looking at my program be bad for one's application? No. Are you serious? Are you asking? You mean if you watch my program, will that affect your? No, it won't affect your application either way. But your comments on social media can affect your application, absolutely, just like it can for a visa. Yeah. So no, they won't affect your program negatively. No, the U.S. government's well aware of who I am and what I do. Just ask all the people. So start a poll. Now, don't worry about this being NDA because it's anonymous, so no one knows what your answer is, so you can answer this question. Okay, so here you go. All right, well, you asked about the colonel in a refugee interview. I mean, before, all these people kept coming. No, I haven't asked them about that question lately, so polls up, chance to answer it. If you drink TB tablets, they can infect you. I don't know about that, Mara. Yeah, it'll be pretty cool, Faithful Farmer, but my decision, I have to decide whether I'm going to fly and rent a car or I'm going to drive. I don't want to put that kind of mileage on my car, but I can. Individuals infected with tuberculosis are proven from traveling overseas. Yes, thank you, Crystal. Why are you putting all these AI answers and everything all the time? Just curious about that. Mark says, let's say you were picked up by police for weed and they went to court, but you were not convicted and they told you to leave. Will that come up? It can, yeah, if they record it on the docket. But since you went to court, it probably was. Social media activity. Yep, we know you got called back for social media activity. Exactly. Exactly. It can happen. I've told people about that. So just got to be careful. Imagine if one token white player in Bafana begs for asylum. Yeah, that would be dumb of him. Yeah, okay. The application is making inroads. Okay, Karen, that's probably what I meant to say. Oh, they ask where you learned about the program. That's your name code. Okay, that's fine. Ask where. So, yeah, where you heard about the program, that's the same as being asked about the kernel. So, yep. 109 votes out of 350 people. Come on, let's fill out that survey. We weren't asked about you, Colonel, but the interview grinned when I mentioned you. Okay, well, that's fine. If I should have said, did my name come up in an interview? Yeah, that would have been better poll. Did my name come up in your interview process? That should have been it. So, there you go. So, answer yes if my name came up. Mickey says they seem to know about you. Yeah, they do know about me. They don't help me. They don't give me information. They just leave me hanging out here. Very frustrating, but it's just the way it is. Well, okay, Mike, you haven't gone for an interview yet. Okay. We were asked, and we said, yes, the colonel, because he gives accurate information. Celebrities doing dumb ads. Well, is that generating revenue for me? I don't mind them doing dumb ads then. Just saying. Let me check on something here very quickly here. 128 votes out of 350 people. We can do better than that. Come on, guys. You can hit the like button, too. Okay. You can hit that like button. Okay. Oh, boy. Reedy Talibi video I did. Picking up a little pace now. That's good. Mike says, I got 24,000 followers on Facebook and I always share you and all this stuff. Well, thank you very much for that, Mike. Appreciate that. We were asked if we've been coached by Colonel Wyatt and Professor G, and actually said, no, that's just good info in the program. Exactly. Yeah, see, that's some asshole trying to cause trouble. No one's coaching anybody. They can screw the assholes and make those claims. I've never coached anybody. Delia says, you're obviously doing fine on your own. Well, thank you for that. Could a locked Facebook profile cause delays? I'm not sure. I'm not sure, Carl. It depends on how they want to approach it. I mean, U.S. authorities have the ability to gain access to those things if they're going to subpoena, but I mean, I don't know if it's that important for them for a refugee case. I mean, for my clearance, if I have a locked social media account and for my security clearance, I can get access to that by requesting it. Yeah. Joe says, I'm the only channel he tolerates the ads. Well, thank you for that. Appreciate that. It's very kind of you. Denise was asked, see another one asked if you've been coached. Yep, exactly. Tell them about that. Be straight and truthful. I know someone in a similar situation told you this is totally fine. Yeah, okay. I'm not sure what Mark Sharp said here about the weed. Yeah, just be honest. Crocotopia, greetings. How about a live stream featuring Mel and Pete? Well, she's not behind bars. He is, but she's not. Ratings go through the... Well, yeah. I mean, if we can get Mel on. Yeah. Does she want to come on? May Lewiston, here I come. Okay. Congratulations. Yeah, the Washington Post did a story about refugees in Maine. I never heard any of these people. They never contacted me. And they're up there. So, yeah. I was asked about where I heard about the program and said it was you. Lady knew who you were immediately. Okay. Cool. Cool beans. All right, so yeah, how are we doing? 147 votes. 147 votes. Okay, one of the volunteers now following you says, when you talk about South, then don't understand, don't know what you're talking about. Veroshka said, one of the volunteers following me says, when you talk about South Africa, they don't understand? I'm confused. Veroshka, what are you saying? One of the volunteers. We're talking about which volunteers? One of the local South Africans is helping, and they say, I don't understand. They say, I don't know about South Africa, or they don't understand what I'm saying. Carl says, and Martin says, thanks to you and Colonel Wyatt. Best advice would be to keep those profiles open. Yep. 357 watching, 330 likes. Okay, cool. Hey, Joy, what's going on? How you doing? I was also asking, I said I watch your videos and then just watch the best info available. Oh, they don't understand. Well, I'll be happy to talk to them, Veroshka. If they want to talk to me, I'll be happy to talk to them. Yeah, Germans have created a new drone. Well, the guys 400 meters from me created a new drone. They were just in Rwanda for a big conference, and they got a lot of offers or interest in ordering the drones that they produce. They make them right over here. Yeah. But they're not going to let me film in their factory. Yep. So, anyway, 159 votes in the poll. There you go. Keep it coming, folks. All right, so Veroshka, one of the volunteers is now following me, but they don't understand what I'm saying about South Africa. I think I understand now. Yeah, but I'll be happy to talk to them about South Africa. I'll be happy to talk to anybody about South Africa anytime, and Zimbabwe, and Botswana, and Mozambique, and Angola. Happy to do it anytime. Yep. In fact, I'm leaving here shortly to go meet with a refugee, someone who came to my meet and greet in Woodbridge Island last year, and has subsequently made it over here with their family. This person is working, and their work brought them to Pennsylvania. I have to drive, not close to my house, I have to drive, so I'm going to leave here to meet with them later this afternoon, and I may have an off-camera interview with them. So be prepared for that, okay? Moving bees at 5 a.m. Pierre, I didn't know you did bees. Cool. Crystal worked for Lancet Laboratories. Well, multi-drug resistant TB is a serious problem. We got it from Eastern Europe. The Russians from gulags and prisons brought it over when they came over in the 1990s. And so, yeah, it's an issue. Tuberculosis is nasty, nasty. I'm actually surprised that all the places I've been, these crap holes around the world that have so much tuberculosis, that I don't have a response to the TB time test, which means I haven't been exposed to it. Thank goodness. Knock on wood. Meerkat's caught up with the chat. Good. Pierre, I didn't know you had an apiary. That's pretty cool. Those African bees, man. They're rough. 169 votes. We're getting there slowly. Mel Bohoist will be the first one to interview Mel. Muinoi, thank you for your year-long membership. Thank you for everything. You're very welcome. Cruiser Phoenix, did you get my chat? Check email again, please. Your chat. Chat is here. Email is different. Anyway, I'm glad I haven't picked up something bad with all the country. Yeah, I'm with you, EB. It's easy to do. Any thoughts? I did get, what's it called? Drawing a blank right now. Not sepsis. What did I get? No, I did have sepsis. Yeah. That was from an infection. I got a scratch. Yeah. So anyway, when I was in Liberia, that was a pretty scary few days. Yeah, especially the antibiotic they gave me was one for tuberculosis. I looked it up online because it made my urine turn rust color. I'm like, my kidneys are failing. So I had a scratch there. We're not sepsis. What's the stuff we all have on our skin outside? It's a very deadly. What is it? Damn it. I'm drawing a blank here, man. I'm getting old. What is the... Can't think of what the heck this is. It's driving me nuts. Staph infection. God bless. I had a staph infection. That's what it was. Geez, Staphylococcus aureus. Jiminy cricket. Staphylococcus. Staphylococcus. I had a staphylococcus. I scratched myself in an unfortunate place because the showers I was in the top floor of the apartment building owned by a Lebanese guy, and next to the embassy in Monrovia, and he put in irrigation pumps, not pumps for apartment buildings for high rises. So the water was pumped very low pressure from the ground floor. If I got in the shower in the morning and one other person in the building was using the shower, my water would just stop. So I'd get all lathered up. I'm trying to shower and the water would start slowing down as they turn the water on. I'm like, crap. And I had my fingernail was sharp. I guess I hadn't trimmed it. And I was cleaning myself and I scratched myself in a very sensitive spot. Within 36 hours, I had a staph infection that was out of control. And I was worn down because I was working 16, 18 hours a day. So my immune system was a little weaker than it should have been, even though I was fit. Otherwise, I would have really been in bad shape. So I got a staph infection. So the nurse sent me an antibiotic. I took the antibiotic. And I was laying in bed. I got up later on and I went to the toilet and my urine was rust color. And I'm like, oh, my kidneys are failing. My kidneys are failing. So we shared one internet connection. It was fiber connected, but the speed out was time. I went on my laptop and I looked it up. This drug, I typed it in. I'm like, because it was on the label. I'm like, this drug was invented in the 1960s to fight tuberculosis. I'm like, tuberculosis? How the hell do I have tuberculosis? This is. Anyway, so it proved not to be very effective. The staph against the staph. So they gave me another antibiotic after calling the regional doctor at our embassy in Accra, Ghana, and he said, give him this. They gave me another antibiotic, and it was gone in 48 hours. But man, I had a staph infection. It was not fun. Yeah, that was bad. And it was not in a good spot. Let's just leave it at that. Yes, right, Freya. Thank you. Good to see you there. Drawing blank because it's simply knowledge overcrowding too random. Yeah, it is too random. Staph infection. Non-systemic mass ball in his lung around was narcotic. In December. Oh, cool. I wanted to ask about the thing where you have to leave the U.S. to green card now. You might scold me on this one. Right? No, EB. How don't you watch my videos, man? That's all I ask. I'm not going to scold you. Why don't you watch my videos? I'll answer the question, but I see this is what's frustrating for me. I made a video about that. Yeah. Trump's new green card policy shocks everyone. I actually got 21,000 views. So I'd suggest you go watch it after this again, but I'm going to go ahead and answer the question. No, the green card is, so we talked to the Campbell brothers, the Campbells, when I interviewed them Tuesday. They got a green card. They applied for the green card from South Africa. Now, as artists, they had special consideration, and they moved to the top of the queue and got over here. But, they apply for the green card from abroad. Now, what Trump is saying is that, except in rare cases, you have to apply for a green card from where you start from, your point of origin. But it doesn't affect refugees. Those will be the exception. We can't send you back to a war-torn country that you fled from just to apply for a green card. That's stupid. So there is an exception there. Yep. I've been coaching. I told the truth. Okay. Heard that there are a lot of Lebanese people in Liberia, despite it being a literally black ethnic state. There are Indians there, a small number of Indians. There are some Lebanese. Yep. And they're not considered Liberian. Even fourth generation Indians that have been in Liberia for 100 years, they're not considered Liberians because you have to be black to be a citizen. It's racist. What new green card policy? Well, the new green card policy came out several days ago. Last week was mentioned by Trump. I published my video on this on the 25th, so 3 days ago. So it came out, I think, on Friday. Have I spoken to Jason Bartlett? No. Jason Bartlett sent me a message on X, which I missed some time ago. I don't use chat on X. I got to enter a code every time I do it, so. Yeah, I have to remember the code. I couldn't remember the code. I had to look it up where I wrote it down. Yeah, he said he didn't necessarily need help. Just wanted to reach out to me. Okay. I want to make contact. Okay, so yeah. What did you want me to make contact with Jason Bartlett about? I just sent him a note. Arctic is in the house, yep. No, it's for all green card applicants except those asylum seekers and refugees. It's not just for H-1Bs. It was for a whole bunch of people. Or at least that's what they reported. Maybe it's wrong. Maybe you know better because you spend a fortune going through this. No, not skin necrosis. It was a staph infection. Staphylococcus aureus. All right, how many votes we got in the poll? 187 votes in the poll now, so we're getting there. We're getting there. Slowly, we're getting there. Okay. Yeah, I've got multiple types of honey here. There's all kinds of different. I like clover honey. That's really tasty. Clover honey is really good. When bees pollinate clover, it's really good. Yassine is not here. Yassine's supposed to be leaving soon, so maybe he's getting ready to leave. Yeah, I saw that Jason Bartlett's been invited to the White House. I haven't been invited to the White House. Have not been invited to my house. Ah. Okay. Yeah, Yassine got approval, didn't he? Didn't Yassine get approval? That's what I recall. Wild Cape flower. Well, I don't know. It may be best in South Africa, but not best here. It's a bit of a chicken egg situation with the green card. You have to reasonably be in the U.S. and you have to be outside the U.S. No, Karen Janssen van Rensburg. No. Yes and no. A lot of people, a significant portion of people who apply for green cards already apply from their home country. Yep. Yeah, I don't know that either, Safa Dreams. I'm well aware of that he was accused of defrauding GoFundMe. I don't know. I haven't asked him that question. I know that the Sunnyside Prowler did a lot of videos about him last year and attacked him last year. But I mean, her attacks are just ludicrous. The woman is mentally ill. She needs help. The thing about Jason is that he needs to not let people misstate things. He was on one of the news programs. He appeared like his third time on the news program, and they called him a refugee. He's not a refugee. He applied for asylum. He's not a refugee. And I didn't see the whole interview, so maybe he corrected them. But you can't let people make those statements. You got to correct them. Marlo Redlingheist, that plays rugby field, says his brother Mervyn is trouble in his case. Officer, please check email. I don't know Marlon. I know Marno Redlingheist. I know Marno Redlingheist. Andres. Okay. I saw your message last night. I think you mentioned that last night. Andres, the last email I have from you is dated 24 April. That's the last email I have from you, unless there's someone else named Andres Muller. I have nothing from you since April 24th. This is interesting. Someone sent me an email. This went to IRC to ORR. So. All right, so I've just received an email from a colored South African who's arrived in the U.S. Yep. Yep. A colored South African has arrived here in the U.S. Just arrived here, so obviously people are still coming, folks. So congratulations to that person. I'm not going to mention their name because they're fearful. Like medical's expired today, Cobus. Jeez. Oh, he got asylum. Okay. All right. Well, I don't know if he got asylum. I don't follow Jason. Jason knows who I am, though. So now I know who he is. You got me worried, and I can get it out of my head. Night Owls, you said, if you've done all three and still not connected, you'll probably not. No, you didn't listen. No, it's not what I said. It's not what I said. I said if you haven't done all three, you're not going to be contacted. You got to listen to what I say. I said that if you haven't done all three, if you've done the PRM email and were never contacted and then failed to do the intake questionnaire, you won't be contacted. If you've done the PRM email and the statement of interest, or you do the statement of interest and were never contacted and didn't do the intake, you won't be contacted. The embassy says that right on their website since the 4th of November. If you've not been contacted, you must do the intake questionnaire. So you misunderstood. Matthew Cody, interviewing an Iranian journalist, she said, your president's in trouble in the USA because of MTN. That's true. Who's Matthew Cohen? No, your application has nothing to do with green card application relatives. Nope. Nope. Clarina Mayer, you know. There's nothing to do with that. Nope. Nope. What did EB3 say? EB says, I don't think being a pilot special in demand job USA. Oh, dude, you are very, very wrong. Very wrong. Very wrong. In fact, it's so special we have a category that's almost exclusively for pilots, for visas. Yeah. Yeah. No, you're very mistaken. You're very mistaken. There's a color refugee here by me I see and chat with him Wednesdays at Cultural Orientation. Hey, Stephen. Thanks for sharing that. Thank you, Colonel. That's why I said I believe I might have heard you. I think you heard incorrectly. Yep. Or maybe I misspoke. I was tired. But no. What I said is if you don't do the intake questionnaire, you're not going to hear from anybody if you've never been contacted. I've been saying that since December 4th. So I think that's the issue there. Okay. This time next year, this town will be a ghost town. I'm not sure which town you're talking about. If USA wants refugees from Thailand, why are so many getting shot down? Who's getting shot down? What are you talking about, Richard? Who's been shot down? Not a single confirmed case of a denial for an eligible person yet. I don't know what you're talking about, Richard. What are you talking about? No one's being shot down. No one's being shot down. Unless you got evidence, that's fake news. Okay, we got 207 votes. I'll close the poll down, 207. So, let's see. All right, 21% of the people, my name came up in an interview. I should have used that, so 21%. So that's 40-some people. So that's quite a bit. I thought it would be a lot more than that, though. Yeah, nobody's been able to prove being denied. Yep. I had my license when I was in the U.S. No one told me I'm in demand. Well, your license doesn't mean crap here. You got to be licensed in America. So you're a licensed pilot in South Africa? Nobody told you they were in demand? What? Sorry, EB. Are people supposed to stop and say, hey, did you know that foreign pilots are in demand in America? We don't have enough pilots for the airlines? Come on, dude. What are you talking about? Hunter Biden with Rob Herself. What are you talking about, Sedgefield? Power pilot. I don't know that. Is that Chris Matthews from frickin', MSNBC or CNN? Yeah, can't keep up with training. U.S. airlines are hiring 2,000 pilots plus this year. Colonel, can work history help potential job placement refugees get USA? In theory, yes. In theory. But in practice, I'm seeing that not necessarily. Okay? How many people guesstimate will be in the U.S. by December 2027? You talking about South Africans? Well, Joe, that's an impossible number to come up with until we get the refugee cap for fiscal year 2027. You're just shooting at the wind. By December this year, by 30 September this year, it should be 17,335. We'll see. There's a gent with a gang-related tattoo that was apparently told he will probably be denied. Well, then he's not eligible. Yeah, anyway, so yeah. All right, so there you go, folks. Do you believe denials are still coming? Yes, I do believe some people will be denied. Absolutely, like that guy there with the gang tattoo. Also, people get caught in lies. They make themselves ineligible. So, Corey, I mean, there's only 300 people here, and there's tens of thousands of people. I'll do the poll, but it's a waste of time. You want me to ask if they got tickets this week? Okay. This is a complete waste of time. Okay, there you go. Congress doesn't decide, Arctic, so you're mistaken there. You say, no way, Congress. Congress doesn't decide. The president decides. The executive branch decides how many people come in. That's what the law says. They just have to consult with Congress. They don't need Congress's approval. Congress didn't approve the additional 10,000. The president issued a proclamation, presidential determination, a PD. The PD affects the executive branch. The executive branch determines how many people come in this country, not Congress. Unless Congress passes a law limiting it, there's no change. It doesn't matter what Congress says. They're just required to be informed, consulted. That's it. Congress does not decide. You're mistaken, Arctic. Just fun. Okay. No, Corey, I did it, but I mean, I think it's going to be a waste of time. 6% say they got it so far. So 6 people that are in the chat got tickets this week. Well, congratulations to 6 people. Don't forget us when you come over this side. Don't forget us when you come this side, okay? America, yes, we do have a shortage of air traffic controllers as well. Absolutely. How can I get in contact with you? You can send me an email, Rainier Oosthuizen. Okay, I need approval before we get tickets, waiting patiently, okay? 900 billion to go till the debt ceiling is reached. Oh, we'll reach it. Don't worry about that. Can someone take a suitcase to Dallas? Okay. I don't know. People, that's going to be a tough one. People don't find out. Needs to approve the budget for State Department, and they can't even do 10K and service other visas. That's a different story altogether. Yes, they do control the purse strings. You're correct about that. But they're going to have a hard time coming up with a figure, Congress, to limit what the administration is doing because they were giving them billions before, and those billions are no longer needed. And so this thing cost $100 million to bring 10,000 more over. So maybe that's a rough figure. Yeah, taking someone else's luggage, I would never do that. Yep, never going to do that. Would never do that. Nope. I mean, that's how people wind up in Thai prisons. Nope. Faithful Farmer says, as a lefty, I'm so discouraged by the anti-white racism. The program isn't just for whites, but what if it was? We took Hmong from Laos and ethnic Nepali. Well, yeah. We also took in 300,000 Ukrainians that shouldn't be here. They should be in Germany or Poland or Hungary or Bulgaria, Romania, not here. Yep, 300,000 blonde, blue-eyed Ukrainian, white Christians. And nobody batted an eye. But the South Africans, they're being racist against them. Okay, Alan, so first off, you're saying unless they're putting them in FEMA tents, you're going to have difficulty getting landlords. You got to stop. Okay, got to stop. So that doesn't pass the common sense test. We took in 120,000 refugees the previous year. We took in 100,000 the previous year before that. They find homes for all those people without deposits for landlords. So a few thousand, you got to put things in perspective here. The number of people coming over is minuscule. Thank you, Carl. So let's see how we did. Did we get some? We had a bunch of super chats. Oh, maybe a decent amount came in. Thank you for that. 375 likes, by the way. Okay. Yeah, you can send unaccompanied baggage, but it is expensive. That's true. I think what people should do is follow the advice of the Campbells. Just forget all that stuff. That's the thing that kills me. Oh, I got to get, all these bags, need all this stuff. Why? Why? Unless it's a memento, unless it's a treasured family heirloom like the Bible or photographs, you don't need it. You don't need it. Everything you want, you can get here. I didn't listen to Jack and FM. Once again, they're just liars. See, they keep perpetuating the white refugee program because they're just racist and they're trying to achieve a goal here. Abraham, I reported on the 2 Democrats invaded the ICE Center earlier in my news broadcast. Take care, Anne-Marie. All right, so 5% of the 130 people. So that's 6 people got tickets this week. Okay, cool. I'm going to end the poll. We did it. Just grateful. You're welcome, Jasper. From Martin. Well, you can take your guitar with you, Mickey Dangerous. Yep. They're cheaper to ship than a bag, usually. Well, you says less expensive clothes to leave the pep store cock at home. Exactly. So this shirt here. Now, if I bought this shirt in a like a Macy's or a Nordstrom or somewhere like that, this would be today like $79. That's insane. Insane. I bought this shirt for $18. $18. That's 288 Rand. 288 Rand. A jersey is 1,000 Rand in South Africa for rugby. So I got this shirt yesterday for 288 Rand. BJ's Wholesale. Klaus wants to know if you pay back. Of course they pay back their tickets. People have been here for a year. They've been here for a year. You have to start paying back in 6 months. If you have a bigger family, what do you mean bigger family? You pay for the ticket. You don't pay for the family, you pay for the ticket. You pay for all the tickets that were purchased on behalf of the people coming on your case. So if there's 5 people in your family, you have to pay for 5 flights, plus whatever flight got them where they're going to States. You got a hat and a flag and a shirt at Bass Pro for $30. Yep. Hey, Faith Farmer, take care. Tramp stamps. Can't explain to you how hotful I am of this Southern government. Bunch of bigots, liars, bullshit, and it's surrounding now. But I got you, Werner. Friend of mine immigrated this week. 3 check bags, 2 adults, small carry-on. Yeah, the firearm depends on the state law. Not sure. Mother-in-law is anti-U.S. Keeps sending my wife nonsense. Price of bread, so I sent her the averages back. Yeah, there you go. The average person in the U.S. works 3 minutes to afford a loaf. In South Africa, work 15 minutes. Yeah, exactly. Well done, Neff. There you go. No, you can't pay for your ticket now. Well, refugees can own firearms once they have a green card, Arctic, but not on arrival. Why do you want firearms? Tampa chick has 23 kgs of high heels. Well, good luck with that. Good luck with that. 2 donkeys. No, I'll pass on the donkeys. Horses, maybe, but donkeys, I'll pass on. No thanks. Got 2 renewals of memberships and 2 new members on the stream. Thank you for that. And we got 85 likes. Thank you for that. Yep. The beard of knowledge. Yeah, my part of the month for Ronald Lamola has got 26,000 views now. 27,700, excuse me. It dipped overnight, went back up slightly this morning, back to 1,000 per hour. Now it's gone back down, so probably won't hit 30,000. Yeah, Paul DeClerc, I'm doing it. I'm doing all 3 matches. What do you mean 2 matches? I'm doing all 3. I'm doing the Bulls versus Munster at 7 a.m. That's 1 p.m. South Africa time. I'm doing the Stormers versus Cardiff at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, which would be 3:30 South Africa time. And then at 2:45, I'm coming on for the 3 p.m. game, 9 p.m. in South Africa for Leinster and the Lions. I'm doing all 3 of them. You're a refugee, Arctic. Not you. They're refugees. They don't need firearms. They need to focus their money on paying rent, getting an automobile, getting health insurance, getting jobs. That's where their attention should be, not on firearms. If you're coming here and your attention is focused on firearms when you arrive, then you've got the wrong focus. Unlike South Africa, you don't need a firearm for safety here. Jasper says, you don't know how special you are, and the fact that you don't even know makes you more... Well, thank you, Jasper. It's very kind of you. Cricket gear is all you need. Well, cruiser, fine if you want cricket gear. I got a cricket ball right there. This is pretty cool one. Check it out. This was a gift from a refugee when I went to Florida. This cricket ball right here. Funny de Villiers. He and his brother both signed it. Got their logo on it. De Villiers Brewers. How cool is that? That is super cool. Super cool. Well, I'll be here for the 4th of July, but I'll probably be here because the Springboks are playing, so I'll have to be broadcasting that. His brother was your coach in high school, says Arctic. Okay, cool. Thanks for sharing that, Arctic. Didn't know that. Bush Wookie says, the safest I've felt in years. Love rugby and cricket too, but rugby is my special source. I'm with you, Jasper. What is Michael asking? Oh, thank you for the 21 Rand. Mark? I don't see anything from Michael, so it's lost. Thank you for 20 Rand. USCIS is holding up a lot of people's cases. You have no evidence of that. You have no evidence of that whatsoever. What evidence do you have that they're holding up cases? Do you have an inside person that can show you that's going on? I have no evidence they're doing that or not doing that. Yep. Turn for years, American families struggle to buy a pack of Oscar Mayer for birthday. No, they're not. No, they're not. No, they're not. U.S. GDP per capita is $89,000. Personal income is $76,000 per person in this country, and the Census Bureau has a per capita income of $44,673. If you're struggling to buy Oscar Mayer hot dogs, making $50,000 a year, then there's something wrong with your spending habits. Something wrong with your spending habits. Bottom line. Personal income per capita in the United States. $76,000 per person. Data comes from the Bureau of Economic Analysis, Federal Reserve Bank, St. Louis. $76,328. Yes, well, they're $2. I thought they were $1.50 for Costco hot dogs. Hey, Ian. Yeah, no, I get people waiting a long time. It sucks. I appreciate that. So the month is running out, so thank you all. This will help a little bit today. The super chats today won't get us where I want to go, but for the month, but it does help a little bit. So thank you for that. Still going to be way short than from last month, which was down from previous month, which is down previous month. But I'm all about the money, apparently. So that's what I'm talking about. December, waiting for medicals. Okay. No, I don't think many refugees have been sent to Tennessee. I haven't looked at it. So let me see if I can take a look and see. Arrivals. Okay, let's see. Tennessee. Tennessee has a total of 84 refugees, but it's gone up every month. 5, 4, well, down 1, 20, 23, 32. So only 84 have gone to Tennessee, whereas Texas had 768, nearly 10 times as many. Yep, that was back in the most recent stats. You paid $11 for hot dog, JFK waiting for correcting. You know, what you have to do when you fly is you know, buy a bunch of crisp or something like that that you can keep, that you can bring in with you. You know, that's because you can't bring biltong and fresh food like that. Yeah, don't buy food at airports. No, that's a bad idea. Scoutalicious, have a good night. At the risk of having to wear a sign for asking, says Klaus, I was just wondering if it's easy enough to pay back 6 flights because you only have one person who can take your job. Ah, okay, Klaus. Yeah, that's a good question. Okay, but see, you didn't ask that question. You asked another question. So now you're asking the question you really want the answer to. People do that all the time. It gets very frustrating for me. It's like being married and you have a spouse that asks you a question that's not the point. They ask 19 questions, then you finally get to the question that you want to actually answer. So the question you're asking is, this is based on those tickets. So 6 people in the family, they are going to base it based on your income. If at the 6-month point you don't have an income, you can ask, let's hope you don't have an income, you have an income in 6 months, you can ask for them to delay that, and they can delay it. Or they'll structure so that your payment is very low. I've talked to some refugees whose payment is $37 a month. Bear in mind, it's interest-free. So it doesn't matter how long you're paying it off. You can always pay it off quicker if you get a job that pays a lot more money. So no, they're not going to. See, you got to use a little common sense here. The program isn't designed for you to fail. The program is designed for you to succeed. Now, we do have a lot of cases of refugee agencies that are intentionally failing South Africans. That's a whole different story. But this comes from IOM, not the agencies. So the agencies have nothing to do with it. The interest-free loan is provided by the International Organization of Migration, United Nations agency, who pays for your tickets. You must pay them back 6 months after arrival, and you pay at a rate that you can afford. If you have limited income, they'll reduce the payment. All right? It's very simple. I don't know that anybody's got a Chattanooga. Well, nobody needs refugees, Arctic. We don't need any refugees. So it doesn't matter what's going on. We don't need refugees, period. Kentucky, sure. That's why I left it open. I figured somebody was going to ask questions like that. Kentucky is 107. 10, 13, 25, 21, 16, 22. So not many are going to Kentucky. Yes, it helps your credit score, Michelle. I've answered that question 347,000 times over the past 15 months. It's a way to build credit. That's another reason why they do it. Oh, the Okavango does rock. I've been there many, many times. I've flown over the Okavango. I've gone through it in Koros. I have four-wheeled through it. The first time I ever saw a giraffe was in the Okavango Delta. It was incredible. I've been to Miami Game Park. I've been all over the Okavango. Yep. You would like Tampa or Nashville, but Florida's first prize. Well, good luck with that. There's too many damn people down there. I was just in Florida. Colorado, Idaho. I would take Idaho over Colorado. No, we can kick out half of South America and keep McDonald's open. Absolutely. Absolutely. We can kick them out, and then they can employ Americans like they've always done in the past. Yep. Crystal's hoping for Pennsylvania. Well, Pennsylvania's nice. Hopefully you don't get stuck someplace in one of the dead cities like Altoona, Scranton, Allentown, places like that, or the leftist dens of inebriation, Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. Why not Colorado? Because Colorado is a woke leftist state. It was a reliable conservative state forever, and there's too many people moving to Colorado. Cost of living is not great. Idaho is much nicer. Yep. All right. Have you seen how many of the Seven Wonders? The Seven Wonders don't exist anymore. Seven Wonders. One of them was the Tower of Babel. It doesn't exist, so I can't go visit it. So I don't know how many I've visited. I've never been to the pyramids. Garrett says, any place I can beat you to. I don't know. Thoughts on New Jersey? Not my favorite place. Idaho has lakes, mountains, and rivers and stuff, yeah. So does Wyoming. So does Montana. It's better than prison, but not by much. Yep. All right. Cool. A lot of grass in Colorado. The entire eastern side of Colorado is flat. Did you guys even know the geography of this stuff? Okay. I did a topographic map. This isn't a topographic map, so that's not going to help me. Oh, that, yeah, okay, there we can see it. Okay. So here's Colorado, okay? Look at this, Colorado. Right in the center of the screen is Colorado. The entire eastern side of the state is flat as a table. I mean, there's some runoff and stuff, but here's the western side. From the middle over, there's mountains. Yeah. Denver is a nightmare. Colorado Springs is okay, but it's kind of woke. It's a shame. Pueblo, that's all right. I've been to Vail, been there. Breckenridge, I've been to. Yep. Grand Junction, I've been through the middle. Aspen I've been to, which is here. Aspen is very expensive. Tellerud I've never been to. That's down here. It's a big ski area. Colorado, it's it's two different things. It's flat prairie and it's mountains. So Idaho is up here. Idaho is full of mountains, and the flatlands are down here, but it's all volcanic runoff where the lava flow was. So there's Boise. Twin Falls is down there. Craters of the Moon, I've been there. Yellowstone, Caribou National Forest, been there. Bridger Teton National Forest, been there. Jackson, Wyoming, yep. I've been down here to this lake. Right there. Been, that's Utah. Great Salt Lake City. Evanston, I've been there. Yep. Rock Springs, been there. Rawlins, Wyoming. Yep. And there's Montana's up here. Montana has the mountains on the east, the western edge, and the eastern edge is all flat stuff. So, yep. Yep. The Grand Canyon. Anyway. Oregon is leftist. The eastern side of Oregon is conservative. The state's controlled by leftists. They have only mail-in voting. Yep. What states resemble England or Northern Europe? England, New Hampshire, Vermont. Pikes Peak is in Colorado, and I've been there. Yep. It's a long drive to get up there. Georgia, New Jersey, North Carolina, South Carolina. New England. I just said New England. I just said New Hampshire and Vermont. Yep, there is so much to see in America. That's the thing about America. All right, guys, it's been 2 hours. I need to cut bait. I need to pop smoke. I need to hit the road. I'm going to meet a refugee at 3 p.m. Need to get my microphones ready just in case we do the interview. All right? So I will catch you later. Be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done it already. Thanks for being here today. I appreciate it. Thank you for the bit of super chat. Almost have 400 likes. Can we get another one? Somebody can hit that like button and get us there, can't you? That's going to do it. Thanks, everybody. Okay? You're welcome, Mian. All right, guys. We'll see you for Night Owls later tonight. Cheers.